Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. In this episode, we're going to talk about Tunic. Tunic is a top-down, sort of top-down, kind of slanted, isometric, sort of-ish, kind of Zelda-like indie game about a fox in the woods. It is developed by Andrew Soldice and published by Finji. It came out on Windows platform, Mac OS, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S on March 16th of 2022 as an action-adventure single-player game. And it is currently on, like I said, on the Xbox. It came out on Game Pass day one. I believe it is a timed exclusive. I expect it'll probably come to PlayStation and maybe the Switch and stuff like that at some point. But right now it's on Windows and Xbox and Mac if you play on Mac. But yeah, so it's kind of inspired by Legend of Zelda. That's kind of when you play it and you look at it, that's probably the first thing you're going to think. But we're going to go around here and see what everybody thought of Tunic. So, Pat, what did you think of Tunic?
Yeah, you fire it up, you start running around, you think, yep, this is Zelda. This is going to be a great game. Then you pick up a sword and the enemies just beat your ass. And then you're like, I didn't think I was playing Dark Souls. But this game is Dark Souls, but it looks like Zelda. It is brutally hard at times. It's that Legend of Zelda was so long ago. I don't remember a whole lot. I remember the game and the concept, but I don't remember the minor details. Like, I think when you used to leave a zone in Zelda, if you came back, the enemies would respawn. This game is more like Souls, whereas when you go to a shrine or go to one of the rest spots and rest, the enemies respawn all around you. So they don't respawn until you go back to one of these spots. And you're locked to areas until you unlock new weapons that let you proceed past certain areas in the game. Like, you can't go you're starting out in a small area and there are some enemies, but they're not really, you can run away from them. So, and you can't go to the next area until you get the sword. You get the sword and just you get a key to open up a door and so on and so forth. You just move through zones like that. So, it unlocks areas like that and stuff. So, I mean, it's very reminiscent of Zelda in that aspect, in my opinion. It's just, they decided that, just having a little Zelda wasn't enough. We need to throw a little Dark Souls in there. Let's make it that hard for you. I guess they're trying to make it feel like more back in the old Nintendo days where what's a save game? You better leave that thing on. Don't turn it off. So they had to throw a little bit of difficulty in there, and that's where it's at, in my opinion. It's enjoyable, but it's frustrating to no end. I'm not a Dark Souls fan. I do like Elden Ring, but not Dark Souls. And this game is a little bit too hard in some aspects. But Shane, what do you think, man? What are your initial thoughts of this game, Tunic?
I fired it up. I run around people. I found a stick. I try to beat the people with the stick. I get the stick shoved up my butt. So, note to self, I keep running around until I, explore and find better stuff. That is just the biggest tip you could have, because you're a punk until you get a real weapon. The stick, all that does is intimidate them. Yeah, huh? How you like that? The game is pretty. I love the art style. I love the colors. I like the little fox, little Tunic. I like the monsters of it, creatures. It is Zelda. Gameplay is Zelda with a moniker of the worst part of Dark Souls thrown in there. But I do enjoy the game. The problem with the game, though, for me is I'm old. I want a little bit of hand holding. Because when you start the game, you don't have a damn clue of what you're doing. Nothing. So I ran around. I couldn't get through this area. Couldn't get through this area at the beginning. So that gave you a slight direction because there's certain areas you just couldn't go through. But once you get a few weapons and things like that, it basically opens up the world, and then you have to figure out what the hell you're supposed to be doing. So then you go find certain objects, certain weapons, certain this, that, and other, but there's no clear guidance of what you're to be doing until probably 2 hours into the game. It took me, but I also died a lot at the beginning because I was poking everything with the stick. So stick poking is bad, people. But I do enjoy the game. It's not as hard as Dark Souls, but it definitely has a difficulty about it. It that definitely feels Dark Soul-esque. It also has that no hand holding, no direction, just let you go thing, which Dark Souls does as well. And I'm not a big fan of that part of it. I'm not a big fan of that on any game. As good as Elden Ring was, I don't like that. I want a little guidance. I want the story to direct me. So, but overall, I enjoyed the game. I really did. I didn't think I would because I'm not a cutesy chibi kind of guy. It's not me. But I like the art style. I like the characters. Even the areas are really well done. Far as the way they're used into a puzzle aspect. So overall, I was really happy with it. There's, like I said, there's a few things I didn't care for, but that's probably more of a me thing than a game thing. So overall, I enjoyed it. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. I agree. I think it is hard, and it can be frustratingly hard at times. To where I was like, okay, I'll just come back to this later because I'm tired of dying. But, it's kind of in the vein of Dark Souls, is where, like, as you keep trying, you'll eventually make it further and further. You'll get through that hard part and continue on. For me, I'd like depending on the type of game I'm playing, and this one is more of like an exploratory type of game where it's just letting you explore and figure things out on your own. And for me personally, I like games like that do that. There's story games that have a story and it's all kind of story driven, and then there's games that just kind of let you out in the world and let you do what you want. And I like that because, much like Elden Ring, you can go wherever you want to. There is there is kind of a path, but there is no path, right? If you want to go down to whatever, you can go down to whatever. Now, this game's a little bit more cut off in a way because, like Pat was saying, there's certain areas you can't go to unless you advance in certain directions, right? And do certain things and get certain items. So, but overall, I really like this game. I think it's a lot of fun. And I believe this game, Andrew, the guy that made it, he's a Canadian indie developer. I believe he made it by himself. So I think this is a one-person developer, if I remember right, because I know Xbox, Microsoft had showed it off a long time ago. It's so according to the information here, it was developed by just him, by Andrew. So that's pretty awesome to make your own game and make one that's kind of. Yeah, it's got a mixture of Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda kind of has that too, that no hand holding kind of sense where it just lets you go wherever you want. And you have to have items, kind of Metroidvania type of thing where you have to have items to get into certain areas. But it does have that Dark Souls kind of hard to it. So it's got a mixture of all sorts of things. But overall, I really like it.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that the way that it, no hand holding, it does eventually handhold you, right? You find little pieces of a manual and it builds a manual for you in the game that shows you things. You're like, first time you unlock one, you're like, what's this weird language? And then you're like, oh, it looks like a page out of a guidebook. And it ends up being pages out of a guidebook. And you're like, okay, cool. And it builds the guidebook as you go along and find all the pages, which is kind of cool, to see that type of stuff. So it gives you little hints that says, hey, to do this, or you can do this and that. And you're like, okay, little hints says that. So build your own guided adventure. It's go your own way, but this guidebook will help you fill in the blank pages on. You're like, hey, how do I do that? So.
Yeah, it was neat little things like that were nice. I'm not sure how long it took this guy, but Andrew, good job. I mean, be able to do something like this by yourself is pretty freaking impressive. I mean, is this game a graphical powerhouse? No, but is it done pretty and done well? Yes. No glitches. I found no glitchy areas. I found, I found nothing super negative about this game in any way. I mean, like I said, most of the issues I had were just me issues, personal things that I'm not into. Uh, I mean, if they'd have gave me a little more hand holding on the story and direction, I would, 2 thumbs up this bad boy. But it gets like 1.5 right now. The nub thumb.
I would say the benefit of this game, though, compared to a Souls game, is you can dumb down the difficulty. So if it's just too difficult, you can dumb down the difficulty. But as gamers, we're oftentimes too proud to do that. So
yeah, my manhood was definitely tested in this, so I never lowered it down, even though I'd done a hell of a lot better if I would have. I could poke them with my stick harder.
And it was showcased in Microsoft's E3 presentation in 2018 is when it was shown off for the first time. But who knows how long he'd actually been working on it. So, probably a good, I'd say maybe 6 years of, I would say of working on it.
From what I read, he was a developer at Silverback Productions. And in 2015, he quit there to focus on this game. So he was working on it on weekends while he was doing that. But in 2015, he quit to focus on this game full time. So it took him that long to put something out to market. But I mean, if you're a single guy, a single person studio developing this, I mean, it looks pretty darn good, in my opinion, for one guy. I mean, we've seen one guy do a lot of great things like Phasmophobia and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So this guy did just as good. I from what I understand, the publishing label kind of stepped in and offered to help publish the game and also refine the game. So I don't know what level of assistance they gave, if it was just guidance or if they gave him manpower or whatever. But sounds like Finji made a great deal on back in this one because it's a pretty popular game, so it looks good and plays good.
Yeah, it's definitely one people have been looking forward to. Microsoft, they may have a lot of studios now, but they're still not quite spitting those first parties out as much as we would like as gamers. But this one definitely hits the right spot. It really does. It definitely has more of an indie feel than a AAA feel, which is perfectly fine because this group has really been enjoying more indies than AAAs lately. So more than happy. And, Microsoft needs to, throw this dude a bone, give him some people to work with, let him do his own thing. No, don't be stepping in. Let's see what he does in his next game because I like what he's putting out.
Yep. And don't forget, if you got Game Pass, you get this one for free. So Game Pass for free.
What's better than free? Getting paid for.
Well, I mean, and putting it out on Game Pass might, it could have it could have helped him in the sense that now you have more, word of mouth type of thing, even for those individuals that may not have an Xbox, when this game probably, and I'm sure at some point will probably come to PlayStation and stuff. It's gotten good critic reception. And then, people that who have Xboxes or PCs that have played this game will then kind of word of mouth to people on the PlayStation and Switch sides that don't own an Xbox or PC, and they can go ahead and pick it up when this comes out. So that might give him more of a boost when it does release. It'll be interesting. And I wonder if, after this, if it does really well, will he build up a team for something next or, or this is going to be the only thing he's going to do, right?
Yeah. Right. Because he still has
what comes after Tunic? Tunic?
Tunic 2? Tunic 2, the Fornic.
The Fornic.
So, I mean, he's still not a studio. He's just going under his own name and his developer. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he creates something else. I mean, maybe he'll come to PlayStation Plus if he goes to PlayStation. But when I first saw this game, I'm like, oh, cutesy little fox. This is definitely a Switch-looking game. And then it grinds your face into the ground. You're like, oh, maybe it's not.
It's like, you called me cute? Ugh. But... No, this game is
where I'll put that stick.
Right. No, this game is fun. It's fun. It's like Shane said, it looks really nice. It's very clean looking. And it plays really well, as far as gameplay goes and controls and various things like that. And there's just a lot of exploration. So I would say if you like Legend of Zelda type of games and a little bit of toughness of Dark Soulsy kind of toughness to it. It's not I don't think it's as hard as Dark Souls, but it's definitely got its moments that can be frustrating with combat and enemies and stuff like that. But ultimately, if you do have Game Pass, definitely check it out. Nothing to lose there. If not, I would say pick it up. I'm not sure how much this game is not on Game Pass. I would imagine it's probably like maybe 30 at the most. Does anybody know? Nobody?
No, not off the top of my head, but I bet
the game?
Super Google over there is going to find it real quick.
$29.99.
Oh,
well worth it.
Me. $30.
I believe I would definitely give a $30 for this one. And you know what? Put the word of mouth out about the game and the guy, because you can tell that he had passion when he did it, and let's not, let that go to waste. Get him out there.
Right. Yep. Like I said, it's definitely accessible for people who don't like the difficulty. I mean, they don't have a difficulty slider per se in the game, but they have things like there's like no stamina restrictions, and then you can also turn on the no fail mode. If you're really hurting, if that boss is really pissing you off, turn on no fail mode, which basically means you take no damage. You're God mode. So,
I like God mode.
Accessibility. All right. So if you want to experience the game and not have to be frustrated, I guess you could do that. But yeah, definitely, exactly. Support these indie developers, because exactly like Shane said, lately, these indie games have been blowing us out of the water compared to these AAA games that other people try to make, that these big developers try to make that don't really come out to be much of really anything. And then we play some indie game on Game Pass or something we pick up on the side and we go, wow, this game is awesome. So we picked up quite a few of those over the past year. And this is just another that we found to be a really good game. So I would definitely check it out. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to this? No?
Nope.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We're going to wrap it up here. Make sure you let us know down in the comments below. Have you tried this game out? Do you have Game Pass? Have you tried this game out? And what do you think of it? Or, from this developer making kind of a Legend of Zelda game, what would you like to see next from them? And also, what indie games are you enjoying currently? Let us know right now. It might give us an idea of some really good indie games that maybe we haven't tried. But anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.